Hello developers, السلام عليكم. Welcome معنا في Design Day 3 من The Great Maghreb Design Weekend. هدايا إن شاء الله باش يكون آخر نهار في الإيفنت هدايا. سو كما جرت العادة نحب نذكركم شنو صار في لي دو جور الفايتين بالنسبة اللي ما حضروش. دونك في النهار الأول كان عندنا أول سيشن عرفنا شوي بالسولوشن تشالنج وعرفنا بلي دي سيز مشاركين معنا في الإيفنت هدايا من المغرب تونس والجزائر. وكانت عندنا سيشنز مع مستر عبد الرؤوف اللي تكلم لنا عن الفيجوال ايدنتيتي والجرافيك ديزاين. اما بالنسبه للنهار الثاني فكانوا فيه تو سيشنز. الاولى كانت مع مستر بسام كربيه اللي عطانا مجموعه من المعلومات على هاو تو تيرن ان ايديا انتو ا برودكت. والسيشن الثانيه كانت مع مستر حكيم علواني اللي حكى لنا على هاو تو ميك يور ويب سايت اور يور اب اتراكتيف. اما بالنسبه للناس اللي تعذر عليهم يحضروا معنا في التو دايز اللي قبل، تنجموا تلقاو الريكوردين على الفيسبوك وعلى اليوتيوب على الباج نتاع جوجل ديفلوبر ستودنت كلابس تونيزيا والا على الباج تاع الايفنت. اما بالنسبه لليوتيوب تلقاوهم على الشان يوتيوب تاع ديفلوبر ستودنت كلابس ايسات سو تشابتر. باهي اليوم معايا شيراز اني طاهر حاح ساعات ما عرفتش بروحي اني طاهر حاح دي سي ليد ايسات سو تونيزيا باش نكون الهوست في السيشن الاولى، ومعايا شيراز شهباني. شيراز
عسلامة الناس الكل. ميرسي طه. معكم شيراز شهباني دي سي إزمام هدية ليد وأعمل ريماركبل فاسيليتيتور. اليوم إن شاء الله باش نحكي لكم على البروجرام اللي عندنا. باش يكون عندنا إن شاء الله 2 سيشنز. الأولى مع ميس إشراق جربي واللي باش تحكي لنا على اليو اكس والديزاين ثينكينج، والسيشن الثانية مع مدام سناء الخيري واللي باش تقدم لنا انترو في الأجيل ميثود. نرحبوا تويكا بمدام إشراق جربي.
عسلامة الناس الكل.
عسلامة إشراق.
عسلامة.
سلام.
إشراق معنا اليوم مس إشراق جربي اللي هي كما نقولوا ماش غريبة على الدار، كانت اكس دي سي كور تيم دي سي ساتسوس و she is now a software engineer at Accelerant و same time she is a UX designer. دونك السيشن تاع اليوم باش تحكي لنا على اليو اكس and design thinking. شيراز إشراق sorry stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. So باش نشير سكرين. نشوف سكرين هكا.
Yes, all is good.
Yes.
Okay, nice. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this session about UX and design thinking. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ichrak Jerbi. I am UX designer and full stack engineer at Accelerant. These are my contact links and my Behance account. First, I'm gonna talk about design thinking process. What is it? How important it is? What are the steps to follow? Then in the second place, I'm gonna talk about UX process, an overview on the UX, its foundations, and the basic steps. Then finally, UX and design thinking, the relation between them, plus some useful tools you may use in your project. You may ask me questions between these parts. I'm gonna talk to you about this later. Okay, so let's start. In general, any business relies on a product or service to afford. Before starting with it, we must find or come up with a problem, a difficulty maybe. And of course, we try to solve it by the product we're gonna make. So how we gonna achieve that in the first place? We don't need technology for the initial phase. We need problem-solving techniques that would help us start this journey. And that's what we're gonna talk about in this session. So let's start with design thinking. Although there is many processes that can be used for problem solving, design thinking specifically focuses on the human-centered side of creative problem solving. It revolves around a deep interest in developing an understanding of the people for whom we're designing the products or services. It's almost every innovative company in the world uses some form of design thinking. So it's super important for you, whether you are a designer, an engineer, a product manager, or simply interested in innovation. Actually, it has brought many businesses lots of happy customers and strong teams. In fact, statistics shows that 71% of companies say design thinking has improved the working culture at their organizations. Also, another statistics show that 69% of companies say it makes their innovation processes more efficient. So now let's dive deeper into design thinking philosophy. It's a creative way to tackle new kinds of problems in order to come up with innovative solutions. You may ask here, how is that? Well, the first concept is instead of beginning with technology, we start with people and culture. We start by understanding the needs of the target user of our product or service. The second concept is learning by making. So instead of thinking about what to build, we build in order to think. So here it comes the prototypes. They speed up the processes of innovation by putting ideas to the world. In that way, we can catch quickly the strengths and weaknesses. Now you may be wondering, how are we gonna methodology, important thinking steps, and finally test. I'm gonna explain each one separately. So first, empathize. Here we must set our expectations about the need and gain real insights into users. This can be done in many ways. For example, we can do user and culture research. For example, sometimes our product or service that we are planning to afford requires some research about culture or job of a certain user or an environment. So doing user research is very important. Also, we can do interviews for real target users. This can help a lot. So we must also gather as much information as we can from different sources. We can create UX personas. I'm gonna return to this later. And also, we can try to catch personal stories or situations where things become difficult. So try to immerse yourself in your customer's world. Second is define. Looking at the information from empathizing, we can define the actual needs of the user. Here in this step, we must come to conclusions about questions, mainly what are the user's needs? What are their problems? What are their challenges? And all along this step, we try to ask the right questions, think about all the situations, and then we come up with the fruit, you might say. It's the problem statement. And with it, we go to the next step, which is ideate. In this step, we come up with ideas to solve the problems just defined. And here, the famous saying interferes. Think outside the box. You can do brainstorming and collect ideas from all team members, or simply sketch up. You can show to people to get real-time feedback. And in this way, we can have other ideas, maybe from the feedback of the user. He might give you a new idea that didn't really come to your mind. Next is prototype. First, we reflect conversations about different ideas, break it down to select few that are worth making something more realistic. And then we turn them into simple, testable prototypes. And remember, they are prototypes, which means inexpensive, scaled-down versions of our product or service. And also, remember, try to do this in the shortest amount of time. And finally, we take these prototypes and present them to test. Here, it's very important to test with actual users. So we get feedback from them in real time based on what they are using at the moment. And a very important thing to keep in mind is to actually accept feedback. Don't try to defend your idea. The point here is to learn what works and what didn't. Although this is the final phase of design thinking process, but it's an iterative process. Teams often use the results from the test to redefine one or more further problems. Then back to ideate phase, based on the new learnings, come up with new or updated ideas, back to prototype again, and test again. You can also return to previous stages, whatever you feel like, to make further iterations and refinements. And that's the core of the design thinking cycle. Not to mention, it's also a mindset. Instead of defaulting to our normal converging approach, where we make the best choices out of available alternatives, design thinking encourages us to make a divergent approach, to explore new alternatives, new solutions, new ideas that didn't exist before. So we create the choices, But here, the divergent part keeps the options open. You see, we have many ideas and no completely accurate answer is identified. Then here, the convergent part role comes in to help find out the best possible answer. So, design thinking is a user-centered process, a philosophy, and a mindset. Everyone that wants to come up with any product in any field should have this mindset. I found a simple example. I hope it would clarify this concept. So first, in this example, we want to help all people. So we want to know them, to know what they lack. So we conduct interviews in this step empathize. We conduct interviews to have an idea about what they really care about. We need to empathize with the situation. Here, you might find that they want to keep the ability to walk around. In your conversations, they might share with you different ways that they can do that. Later in the interviews, you want to dig a little deeper. Look for personal stories or difficult situations. Then you redo the process with many people with the same problem, and you listen carefully and take notes of every small detail. Step 2, define the problem. Looking at the interviews, you can now understand the actual needs that people try to accomplish in certain activities. One way to do that is to underline the verbs or activities that people mention when they are talking about their lives, like going for a walk, meeting old people, old friends for tea, or simply going shopping. You might realize it's not about just going out. It's more about staying in touch. After your analysis, formulate a problem statement. Some elderly are afraid to be lonely. They want to stay connected to the world. Step 3, ideate. Now, focus only on the problem statement and come up with new ideas. The point here is not to get a perfect idea, but rather to come up with many ideas that solve the problem. Like unique virtual reality experience, for example, or these products. Whatever it is, sketch up your best ideas and show them to people, to the people you are trying to help to get their feedback. Step 4, prototype. Now take a moment to reflect what you have learned from conversations about different ideas. Ask yourself, how is your idea fit in the context of people's actual lives? And remember, the solution might be a combination of a new idea with what is already being used. Then connect the dots, sketch up your final solution, and go build a real prototype that is just good enough to be tested. Which brings us to the last step, which is test. Now, test your prototype with actual users. Don't worry if people didn't like it. The point here, like we said, is to learn the strengths and weaknesses, what works and what didn't. Then go back to ideation or prototyping and apply your learnings. Repeat the process until you have a prototype that solves the problem. Okay, this was the design thinking part. If there is something not clear, please tell me. Is this clear? Do you have any question about this part? Hello? Don't have question? Okay, nice. So, okay. Okay, nice. So we move on to the next step, the next part, which is UX design. UX design is also a human-centered process. It's the process of enhancing user satisfaction with a product by improving the usability, accessibility, and pleasure provided in the interaction between the user and the product. UX design has some solid foundations, which are mainly number one, your product should be, your content should be useful. It should be original and should fulfill the need of the user. Number two is that the product is usable. It should not only be easy to use, but enjoyable to use. Next, your product is desirable. UX design is not graphic design or UI design, but it does make sure that all those visual components come together to make the product desirable. Next on the list is learnable. Every product should be navigable and simple, and the user should learn it while they are using it. And the final thing is memorable. The user should be able to walk away and come back to the application next time and use it easily, like riding a bicycle, because it's so familiar. So these are the UX foundations that you got to make sure your product have a balance between all of them. Now let's take a look now on the UX steps. Well, there are no really specific steps to follow, but there are basic, stable ones. First, since it's user-centered process, we have, not surprisingly, user research. You must do tons of research as the user experience the design, because making smart decisions only depends on information. You have to have basic understanding of the user of your application. Second, we have wireframing. The fact of making the layout structure of any website or product that you are building. You see here, it's void of any sort of visual elements. We don't see colors or icons or visual or videos or anything. It's just about the structure and content and leading the user where you want them to go. How do things flow for the user? What they should click on to make it really simple and easy for them to do in each step. Second, the next thing is making the design, or let's say high fidelity version of our wireframes. So the user can interact with it easily. We can't present the wireframe to the user. Then we do this design to present it to the user testing, the fact of putting our design in the hands of people and seeing how they react and how they respond, asking questions to try to validate your ideas. This process is surely iterative, and you come back to all the steps when you feel you need to. Okay, so this was an overview of UX design. It's an extremely vast and fascinating field. It shapes the products and services we use on a daily basis. So I prepared for you some UX tips that might help you. The first step is clear the action. We must lead the user and take him exactly where you want them to go, and also where they need to go, making things accessible and easy. You can see here we proposed and highlighted a plan for the user, so his attention gonna go first to that plan, and he will check it first like we want him to go. Also, that goes even for buttons. Here you can see both buttons have similar contrasts, so the user is confused between them. They compete for the buttons compete for user attention. So we can do it like that with the border. Positive action has a much higher contrast, like here. User sees a clear action. Here, for example, also negative. So it's highlighted with red border. So this is good UX. This is a very important tip. You must understand this. Second, reduce the visual confusion. People only have so much mental energy to devote to the product. The more you remove what doesn't need to be there, the more you're gonna help them focus on what you actually want them to do. Like in this example, here there is so much statistics, so much content, so much a big table, and the user is confused to what to focus on. But here we have organized all of them. We have removed some. Here the user gonna focus on this big statistic, and he can switch in the tabs also. The next step is similar to previous one, which is reduce the text. People actually don't read. They scan. Even if you think your paragraph is great and describes well, it doesn't really matter. Strip it down. Even long headlines. You see, when the user is scrolling down very fast, you must catch his attention. It has to be reduced to be good. Also, like they say, a picture worth 1,000 words. So if an icon can say a long headline or paragraph, just put it. Icons really, really make it easy, and they are catchy too. The next step is white space. Actually, this is my favorite tip. Let things breathe. Stop boxing things in, like boxes inside of boxes. Open things up. Remove the border. Let things have a little room to operate, and then allowing people some room to use things and see things clearly. There is this saying, white space is like air. It is necessary for design to breathe. This is like a big rule for design, even graphic design. So you see here, the eye is comfortable looking at these. And remember, white space doesn't need to be white. It can be with the color of the page, like this, for example. It's light gray or very, very light blue. So the next, last step is loading time. You have to improve the load time of your application. The majority of people expect your website to load in 2 or 3 seconds and start using it right away. If you can't do that, at least put loading images like these examples. In that way, we are telling the user, just wait a little. There is some content coming. So it's an important step to keep in mind. Here I prepared 2 examples, 2 bad weeks examples, and I want you to try to figure out what's wrong with this. Come on. In your opinion, what's wrong with this interface? Color. Yes, maybe. Backgrounds. Yes, backgrounds. You see, the background here is, the contrast of the background is very high. حلو الميكروفون نسيلس. حلو الميكروفون تكلموا. Come on. Character size. Yes. What else? Spacing. Yes, spacing, yes. Especially here. Not relationship, no relationship between the content and the background. Maybe this this website is about something related to the background. I don't know. Ergonomy, yes. Opacity of the background. Yes, the background is very, the contrast is very high. Yes. What else?
Size of image.
This map, for example.
Yeah, map. Yeah.
Yes. Good. What else?
Space of the content is few. The menu, no menu in the.
Yes. What else?
It's one page. There is no menu, no page, no other page.
Yes. Good. Bravo. The navigation.
Navigation, yeah, there is no navigation. Is
yes.
No connection, no nothing. Just one page.
Yes. They made it here, I guess. So it's bad. It's bad weeks. What else?
As like image, not website. There is nothing.
Yes, that's true. And maybe we want the user to have an account, to sign up. So why there isn't a contact form? Here we can say, for example, make a new account, sign up, and try to make the user have an account for this application. Also,
no interaction with the user. It's just put it information and nothing else, I think.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Opacity of the background, yes, opacity of the, maybe if they choose another background or add a filter above the background to reduce the contrast. The house isn't perfectly centered. Well, it's a bad image. I agree with you. It's not very accurate. So the next interface, what do you think about?
Wow. Size of the text. There is charged with the content and something no organized content, no.
Yes.
There is so much information. We don't know where to focus.
Yes, true. The menu is very, there is so much options. What else?
Once you log in this page, you get lost.
Yes, that's true. What else?
Logo at the bottom. What's this?
Yes, there is no logo, I guess.
Logos menu. I didn't understand what's this.
It's a bad use. That's it. So
ambiguity.
Look, there is login here. What else? What is wrong with this? Space fonts, yes. Opacity make the content hard to read. Yes, that's a very good remark. Yes, maybe if they wanted the menu to be clear at least, they may increase the opacity of this. Here we can see the face of the woman, and we hardly can read this. So what else? Space fonts, yes. It's too much content, yes. Especially the menu, the navigation. Try to make it simple. Simple navigation is also always help. So what else? That's it? Okay, do you have any question?
All design, can we consider it?
Yes. Especially the navbar, everything. Really. So, do you have any question about UX? About this part?
It's clear.
Thank you. The steps, wireframing. Muna, I have question. Yes, please. How to become a UX designer? Well, good question. To become a UX designer, first you can watch on YouTube, there are several good channels you can follow. Let me show you. Just, there is design course. I like this channel a lot. There is awesome videos, awesome mix. It talks about different tools, XD, and Figma, Sketch, talks about them all. There is also Jesse. Also, you can follow him. He's very awesome. And you must practice. You can, for example, pick your favorite websites. Pick 3, for example, and try to, for example, wireframe these three favorite, and try to find out what's the common between them. So in this case, you learn about what's cool to do, what's the good direction to go. You can also pick up 3 horrible websites, like we did here, and try to find out what's wrong, and how to fix this. You can try to open Photoshop, for example, or Wix or Adobe XD, and try to make this interface and fix it. This is a good exercise to begin with. You also need to look for inspiration, look for other designs. I really recommend seeing Behance. Wait, just yes, you know Behance, or at least you heard about it. So watch the other designs, the trends, the new trends. In this case, you will have an inspiration, an idea. There is also Pinterest. It's very awesome too. It's design. You can find ideas here, maybe not only inspiration, maybe new ideas. You can search anything here, not only UX design. So, any other questions? To work as a UX designer, do you need a license, or is it enough to be experienced and good? Yes, it is enough to be experienced and good. It's about your resume, and especially about your portfolio. The portfolio that you can do a website that contains your previous designs, and I will show you. You can simply do a Behance portfolio. Like I have one. Well, I have only few. You can put your designs here, previous designs, and have your information here, and your tools that you are using. And for beginners, you can fake a project. I mean by that, it is not necessarily that what you put here is client work, a customer work. It can be your idea. Just you come up with idea, do a logo, for example, or interface or whatever you like, and put it on your portfolio and apply with this, and you're good to go. Next question. Can you repeat the second YouTube channel that you mentioned? Yes. I'll repeat them all. We have Jesse. He talks about UX and especially Adobe XD, Adobe products, every Adobe product. And it's the content is very awesome. There is design course. There is also, I forgot to mention this, Asian Smart. It's actually a startup, successful one. And this is the CEO of the startup. You can have many ideas here. What else? Do you have any other questions? That's it. We continue. Okay, continue. There are questions. What are the standards and norms for constructing an ergonomic, responsive design wireframes? What are the UX design basic rules and criteria? What are the hypotheses to avoid? Discuss with the team how to rank the hypotheses in the crisis level matrix. Thanks, God. Well, I didn't understand you. What do you mean about by concepting an ergonomic responsive design wireframe? F and Z model. You're talking about the layout, I think. F and Z, I know the layout, for example. For example, this site, it's a Z layout, like this. You will read the informations from left to right and then to bottom, left and then right. I have examples really. And F layout, it would be just reading like an F. No examples. Just it's like a layout shape. Z and F. It is a part.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Ichrak, I think he talked about ergonomy. Ergonomy is not a part of UIX. It's a science. The UIX based on this science. I think that's what you're asking about.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea about this? Because I don't.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Ergonomy. It's a science, as I said. So I have many rules about design. He talked about the model, the pattern, as he said, the Z or T is the how the user interact with the system. Yeah, and the meaning of colors, how we use for example, education. We have colors for nature, so something for economy. We choose colors based on this science. So we have more details in the science of ergonomy than when you study UX design. So it's science, then UX is the user of this science. It's based on. That's what can I say.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for sharing this.
You're welcome.
Next question: what's the best free course in design for a beginner one? Actually, I don't really know a course for design specifically, but it's really important to know the design basics for creating a beautiful UI design, UI interfaces. Maybe I guess design course also have videos about the design, not only UX. So check this again. Okay, so we continue where we left. So now we're gonna talk about UX and its relation with design thinking. So they are both user-centric approaches, right? And both are aimed at creating delightful experiences for the user. You may ask here, are they the same? Well, I would say very alike. Now, they seem like they are two sides of the same coin, but here actually, the design thinking is the more strategic and conceptual. On the other hand, the UX is the more skillful and build-oriented and focuses more on the design. It cares about it cares about design elements and keeps the balance between them. In fact, it's like the design thinking can be part of the UX process and specifically interferes in complex problems to give creative, innovative ideas. So that's how UX, that's how design thinking can help user experience. In complex problems, we can do design thinking to be more specific about the problem. Here, I wanted to include some tools you may use in your UX and design thinking projects. They are actually frameworks or templates that you can print out and put on walls in front of your team members to apply, for example, post-it notes. So the first one is user persona. Earlier, I mentioned user personas, and now I'm gonna explain it. It's the creation and presentation using all the informations and research you gathered of an average user of your application. In the description, we should include needs, for example, motivations, goals, frustrations. Also, we can study their personality a little, have their family status. But remember that user personas should not be imaginary people with big data. It should represent the data and informations you collected to help make smart decisions. After creating these personas, you're gonna run them through scenarios and questions like what our user would do when he first launched our product. So it's a great method to get close to our goal. The next is an empathy map. An empathy map is a collaborative tool teams can use to gain a deeper insight into their customers. Much like a user persona, an empathy map can represent a group of users, such as a customer segment, for example. It is split into 4 quadrants, like here, contains 4 quadrants: says, thinks, does, and feels, with the user or our persona in the middle. The says quadrants contain what the user says out loud in an interview or some other usability study. What are they telling each others? What is their attitude towards this? Then the thinks quadrant captures what the user is thinking through the experience. Ask yourself, what occupies the user's thoughts? What matters to the user? The does quadrant encloses the actions the user takes from the research. What's their typical day look like? What does the user physically do? For example, the user refreshes the page several times, shops around to compare prices, for example. So these informations are very important. Also, the feels quadrant is the user's emotional state, often represented as his emotions. Ask yourself, what worries the user? What does the user get excited about? And how does the user feel about the experience, the entire experience of this product? So you can print this and put it on walls, and with your team, and with brainstorming, you collect the ideas and stick them to the wall here, here, and here. And like that, you would organize your thoughts about empathizing with the user.
Ichrak? Sorry for interruption, but you have less than 10 minutes.
Okay. Presque, c'est bon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The final one is the famous SWOT analysis. I bet you heard about this. S stands for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. Here it's split and organized by the intersection of 4 characteristics. Here we have external origin, which are attributes of the environment. They have nothing to do with us, with the organization, or with you personally. The internal origin attributes of the organization are attributes, personal attributes. And here, helpful and harmful. So, strengths, you may put what do you do well, for example. Why are we chosen by customers? What makes this unique? Then, for harmful internal origin, we have weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of your product, or at least possible weaknesses that you predict? And what can you improve in this? For external origin, here we have opportunities. What trends could you take advantage of? What opportunities are open to you? And finally, threats. What threats could harm you? What is your competition doing, for example? You can print this template also and then post-it notes to every part with your team. And this SWOT analysis, you can do it in any project. It's super famous already. So that's it. Thank you. And your questions, please. You have.
Thank you very much, Ichrak. It was a very instructive session. Is there any questions, guys?
Lecture slides, yes, of course.
Okay, just the slides. I will post a feedback form. For those who want lecture slides, please mention it in the comment section, and you will receive it as soon as possible. So here is the feedback form. Please fill it. And just a little reminder for those asking for certificates, you will receive the certificates by email by the end of the event and during next week, inshallah. Okay, so I see that there is no questions. Thank you, Ichrak. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And hope to see you in next event, inshallah.
Inshallah.